G'day legends, I hope you're all fantastic. We are diving into some more retro rack goodness today with the TC Electronic D2 multi-tap rhythm delay. A big shout out to my buddy Brian Hook for getting this one out to me to make this video. I've been curious about this unit for a long time. Single rack space, delay processor only. I have seen these along with the TC Electronic single rack space reverb, which I think was called the M1, in a lot of pro audio setups. This was kind of the go-to rhythm tap delay in a lot of modern PAs up until probably recently, and you still see them around along with the matching reverb. We'll kind of see why, because it is very easy to dial in from the front panel. So you've got your power switch over here. You've got an input level and a mix control. So I'm running this 100% wet in a parallel loop of my Axe effects. You've got quite a nice, large, easy to read display like the old G major on there. It's basically the same kind of box as the G major. You've got two rotary encoders over here. You've got a delay setting over here where you can tap in the delay time if you want. There's also a rhythm tap setting, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but basically you can tap in a custom rhythm and have the echoes come back in that rhythmic pattern, which is pretty cool. Then over here, you can apply a variety of different effects to the delay. There's a spatial effect, so you can have a left-right offset, or you can phase reverse one or both of the channels. Then you've got filtering, chorusing, a dynamic setting for a ducking delay over there. You can reverse the delay, and you can also set it up as a ping pong delay on there. You've also got some kind of deep editing with the menus and the overall setup over here. There's a bunch of presets which we'll hear, but I'll give you an idea of, I guess, how you could use this in a stereo guitar rig. It's pretty straightforward. So with your delay, you can either just adjust the time with the encoder over here. So let's say we wanted a 350 millisecond delay, or you could tap the delay time in. Then you can use the up and down arrows over here to set the feedback level and the number of repeats. So I've got 10 repeats on there, feedback level's 50%. I don't have any of the effects applied at the moment. It's a pretty sweet sounding crystalline digital delay. straightforward to dial in a traditional delay tone on there, and you can also get over 10 seconds of delay out of this if you want to do some sound on sound style textures like I did right there. The next step to dialing things in is to use some of the effects in there. So the one I think a lot of people are going to be interested in is the spatial side, because you can do the 2290s style phase reversed outputs on here. So what does that mean, I guess, is a good question. Let's go back to the single coil mode on here. If I double tap this spatial button here, I get access to its parameters. So you can have an offset on the left channel in terms of time. So if I wanted to dial that one in right there, I could move this encoder. So I can have, what sort of offset can I have over here? Let's see what the maximum offset is. It's well over 100 milliseconds, which is cool if you want to do some dual delay things. So 200 millisecond maximum offset. Let's turn that to 0 for now, because what I want to play around with, if I hit the down button over here, I can set the phase reverse off. I can have it on both channels. I'm just going to do one side. Check this out. Make sure you're listening in stereo or you won't hear anything. I think that sounds great, and if you want a 2290 style tone out of a rack unit, but you don't want to front up the big money for a vintage 2290, this will probably get you close enough. We'll do some more processing to that in a second. What I want to do is have a listen to the offset that we can get here. So let's maybe put an offset of, let's go plus over here. So I've got 350, let's do a 350 millisecond and a 550 millisecond delay over here. Check this out. Classic pair of delays would be 375 milliseconds, then a 125 millisecond offset, so you get 500 milliseconds on the other side. What I'm going to do to that, though, is I am going to filter it, then we'll add some modulation and some dynamics. So the filter options are interesting on here. You've got a high cut for the entire delay line, or you can just have the high cut and the low cut, I should add as well, in the feedback loop. So let's go down to the overall high cut. So I've got that at around 4K, a little bit of a low cut in there. Let's have a listen to this dual delay now that I've set up, and I'll engage the filtering on it. It's going to sound a lot warmer. It's kind of going to sit under the core guitar tone a lot nicer. To that, I can add chorus or some modulation on there. The parameters that we've got access to there are the speed, the depth, and the amount on there, as well as the feedback, the chorus time. You can have this set up in a golden ratio setting on there. Again, phase reverse, you can choose the LFO curve and the LFO phase. Let's actually change this LFO phase to 90 degrees over here. So plenty of fun stuff to be had on there. For the actual chorus time, maybe let's set that to around say 5 milliseconds, something a little lower. And again, we'll have a listen to the impact that it has on a dirty sound and then a clean sound. That example there just kind of demonstrates how you can start with a core clean delay line, use the spatial effect, the filtering, the chorus, and then the ping pong, including the different ping pong modes. And we heard a left, center, right delay in there, which I love the sound of in there. So if you want to do your lexicon-inspired circular delays, there's no diffusion in here, but you can still have that setting on lock, which is great. You can also set the ping pong offset in the kind of classic style as well over there. So I really like that ping pong mode in there, especially the LCR, and I love how easy it is to just kind of set up your spatial and filtering effects as well as your modulation. Another 2290 inspired hallmark is the dynamic section over here. So this will allow you to duck the delays. I've set this up with quite a low threshold on here. The release, I've got it 140 milliseconds, 12 dB of damping on there. Let's have a listen to the effect the damping has on there. So I'll turn, let's turn everything except the filtering off on there because I want to hear this with a dirty tone. And of course, we can have an immense amount of fun with the reverse delay. This is just processing everything wet. I've turned off the dry signal. This is going to look weird, but it sounds kind of cool, right? That pretty much covers all of the functions on the D2 as a traditional delay processor, but the other side of this is that you can use it as a rhythm tap delay, which in itself is super interesting. So, if you just kind of tap in a tempo over here, this will scale the delay time to be in time with your tempo. You can choose different rhythmic subdivisions, your classic tap tempo style delay. But if you had a custom echo pattern that you wanted, let's say you wanted your rhythm to go something like this. Okay, so we're going to tap that in down here on the rhythm tap section. So now my echoes aren't going to be equally spaced. They're going to come back in that particular rhythmic pattern. Check this out. I love that function on there. It makes this unit super unique. If you're into really cool digital delays, it's worth looking into one of those just for the rhythm tap feature alone. But the fact that it is just a great all-purpose delay machine that can do left, center, right delays, ping pong delays, dual echoes, modulated delays, reverse delays, dynamic delays, and it gives you instant access to all of those parameters. I think this is laid out really, really well. I personally find it a lot easier to use than, say, the TC G-Force or the G Major. I've got videos with those units up on my channel. I think because I'm familiar with them, using this just for delay is even easier. Maybe if I wasn't familiar with the layout, there'd be a bit more of a learning curve on there. But I love that it just gives you all the kind of effect options that you can give to your echoes up front. Really easy to tweak the delay time. The display on there kind of tells you where you're at with everything. I really, really like it. If you can't afford a 2290, but you want some of that character, this would be a great delay to look at. If you just want a great rack delay for a stereo setup, this one is well worth looking at as well. I think it kind of takes some of the difficulty out of, say, some of the older units like the Lexicons and the Rocktrons. They're a little bit dense if you just want to use them for echoes, but it's advanced enough where you can get in there and really dial in those sweet delay tones. So what I'm going to do now is just go through a few presets on here. There's a bunch of really great presets that I like playing around with as well. Thanks so much to Brian for sending this unit out to me to do a demo with. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you want to support what I'm doing here on the channel, links in the video description. Let's start with this My Old Echoplex preset. Have a great day, enjoy the greasy delay tones, and I'll see you next time.